1 2 1 2, you know what it is. It's your man SKYZOO Skyzoo, live out the borough. And you are now logged on, tuned in, Fatherhood Podcast. You know what it's about, you know what it's celebrating. It's the dad thing, baby. Let's do it.
Welcome back, DJ EFN, to fatherhood.
Not really back. I'm actually.
I think that deserves an applause. I mean, we missed you, bro.
It does.
Great episode with Skyzoo, by the way, guys.
Oh, you listened to it?
Yeah, it was dope.
You're lying. Yeah.
No, you're lying.
I have nothing. He's got some time on his hands right now.
That's true. That's true. Well, thank you.
It's still my product as well. I'm not on the episode. Doesn't mean I'm not a part of it.
No, but you've already admitted that you don't listen to podcasts. Period. So you know.
You're absolutely correct.
So
you never know.
So let's get down to business, E.
Yeah, let's
talk about this Zombie Land and tell us how it is with your new edition and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so many thoughts have been going through my mind. I've been thinking weirdly about you guys a lot. Well, not weirdly because it's fatherhood. It's what we talk about.
Right.
A lot about Kether. Like I'm not having another one. And in my head, I'm like, did we really do this? Like I feel kind of bad because like. Not we. I'm gonna say I question. Like, damn, I don't know. Was this the right move? Should we have really have done this? But you look at the baby and you're like, okay, nah, it's all good.
Right.
But it has been hectic. The labor itself and the birth went pretty smooth. It was in a birthing center. It was a water birth. It happened quickly. Even though just with the minor craziness of like my mom being there, her grandma. We even had my daughter in the room. And so even though they were like all of that was a little bit crazy, the fact that it happened fast, it wasn't too crazy in that sense.
Now, before you go on, like with your daughter being in the room, did she have any clue as to what was going on?
Bro, and like people were like, my mom's like, you guys prepared her for this, right? And I'm like, look, dude, she's a toddler. She just turned 2. Of course, she's seen her mom's belly grow.
Right.
Beyond belief, and we tell her,
chill. You can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say that.
What?
You can't say her belly grew beyond belief. Well, I guess now it doesn't matter, but in the middle of it,
my girl hated when people say your belly's so big. She gets mad. I'm like, why, dude? You're pregnant.
Right.
Anyway, whatever, bro. Point is that we would tell her, baby brother's in there. He's coming soon, and when it started happening, the one thing I was really both of us were nervous about was because she's in that terrible twos, like her moods change quickly. She's really sensitive nowadays. She's like weird, like you never know what day like her mood's gonna fall, like what mood she's gonna have any given day. So I was really worried about her freaking out when my girl was getting the contractions and doing all of, and just in the birth part and all that, like a horror movie to her. I would imagine she'd freak out and cry, and her mom's in pain. She'd be scared. Dude, she tuned it out.
Wow.
And with the help of YouTube, of course, which is, anybody, some of our guests that are like, that's not happening.
Hold on. Time out. I'm just trying to picture the moment. Did she have like headphones on? Or was...
No, she could hear everything. She would tune out, like she's tuning it out because every so often she'd come back into our world and go, "Mommy, have coco?" Coco is what we say for like an injury or you're hurt, pain. She calls it a coco. She goes, "Mommy, have coco?" And I'm like, "Yes, mommy has coco. Baby brother's coming." Okay. And then she just turns back to the booba. That's what she's into on YouTube. And she would just sit there and watching it. And just if a scream got loud, she just turned her head, looked, "Mommy, coco," and then turned right back. It didn't faze her, man. Like nothing fazed her about that process. Wow. But when baby boy came, then her mood really shifted, and that's kind of like that's what's becoming the most difficult part. Beyond besides the sleepless nights and all of that stuff. It's been my daughter's reaction to her brother being introduced into the family, which it crushes us, man, because you just like you don't want her to think that she's loved any less, and then you start to like blame yourself. You're like, oh man, like I completely ruined this kid's life. Like, one minute her life is, like she's the center of our world. She feels, all the love and attention, and now she's got to share it, to no fault of her own. Like, she didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
And she's been acting out, man. Like, she's, the other day, a friend of ours dropped off like a congratulatory little, care package, and it had like balloons and it had a gift for my daughter, but it had like a cake and it had a picture, because we had sent them a picture the day of the birth, and they actually printed it out and framed it. So when my daughter wakes up from her midday nap, that's when it had come between then. She sees it, and she usually, when she sees balloons, she thinks it's a birthday or it's for her, it's celebration. She's like, happy. That's what she says for happy birthday. And as soon as, I don't know, my girl lifted up the frame and she saw the picture of the baby, she flipped out.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, damn.
That shows me how understanding she is of what is going on, in a sense. Like, to me, that's, like, she has to be really, like, kind of like coming to grips with the understanding that this kid is now here to stay and she's not feeling it,
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, no. And then even we were like, yo, this is a gift for you. She's like, no. And then the gift was a baby, a doll. And she threw it across the room. Yeah. And then the other part, like, other little things that have happened is like, that really like makes it worse is, my girl, because it was such a fast birth, she didn't stay in, it wasn't a hospital stay or nothing. She gave birth and came home within an hour or two after that. So she's literally recovering.
All right. So there's a lot here. I want to spend a little bit of time on two major things, and then
let me just finish this one point that I was gonna make.
Go for it.
So
I allow you to go for it.
So thank you. So she's injured and she can't lift things, heavy things. She can't do anything, but feed the baby. And my daughter's like, pick me up, and my girl's like, I can't. But then she'll see her with the baby. Daughter just gets crushed by that. Gets crushed. And the other day we let her, she held the baby about 2 or 3 times, and then last night she wanted to hold it again, and then the baby started crying. She goes, no like it. So yeah, that's where we're at, man. It's and plus add the sleepless nights. My girl's really taking the brunt of that because she's nursing and all that. So she's the G on that one. I get a little bit more sleep than her.
Remind me, your daughter sleeps in her own bed?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys feeling the pressure of bringing her into your bed to compensate?
No.
Okay.
No. Her in her own bed is like godsend. Like, that's perfect. The only thing is she's also, I don't know if it's terrible twos or if it's the situation, but she's also gotten in a stage where she's fighting going to sleep. She wants to stay up.
Yeah.
So you couple that with she sees the baby stuff in our room. So if she thinks, oh, you want me to go to sleep, but then you're going to go and hang out with homie, like all that is just, but when we get her, finally get her in there and she, she'll be up for a little bit, but she finally knocks out, that's God sent that we can, have that time and she can be in her room. And the only thing that we're scared of that night is when the baby starts crying. And it hasn't happened yet. Maybe once she's maybe woken up a little bit, but hasn't fully woken up. The last thing I want is for the baby to wake her up in the middle of the night, and then she realizes she's been woken up by this thing that she hates.
And it is beef.
She's not going to go to sleep. He's not going to go to sleep. It would be terrible.
So I want to touch on the long sleep and the implications of the long sleep as it relates to you guys leaving the birthing center.
Did you talk about this via text?
We didn't get into it. I don't think. I mean, you mentioned.
Yeah, they kicked us out.
I think we talked about it maybe 2 episodes ago where you were telling us about how the birthing centers kicks. You can't. You got to get out of there before the long sleep happens.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the first I've ever heard of that shit. And I actually talked to my wife. She was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh, so you're not up on game. So you need to."
We didn't have it either on our end.
Right.
Didn't have it this time either.
So how the fuck? So I can't imagine how a woman who just gave birth. Basically, you're on the clock, right? Because there's a lot of like you just went through this traumatic experience of having a child. Now you have to wear the burden of, all right, we got to get our shit together. I got to feel good enough to make my way home before I need to rest. How was that portion of the program there? Like, how did you guys manage through it?
Well, we were already mentally prepared for it. Like, my girl, ideally, she remembers the hospital stay. Like, last time we were supposed to be in a birthing center, didn't work out. We ended up having to go to the hospital, and she gave birth in the hospital. She, looking back at that, we were like, for first-time parents, you know what? It sucks because we paid and we went through the whole birthing center thing, and we ended up in the hospital, so that sucks. But the hospital allowed her to rest while the nurses 24/7 come in and change the baby, kind of like on the job training with freaking what's it called, with the training wheels,
Yeah.
That's what that was like. So my girl could rest in that, and we were there, I think, at least 48 hours in the hospital.
Yeah.
So she felt like maybe she could kind of say she had that rest in the hospital. Here we didn't, and she was prepared for it. But this is what happened. So let's just say it does exist, the long sleep.
Yep.
And it was going to happen. Our window for it happening got jerked because we were all right. We were prepared for it. And we're like, all right, fuck it, let's get out of here and let's have this baby and you have the long sleep so that I could put my daughter to sleep. Because what happens is it all ended up happening around it ended up going over the time we usually put our daughter to sleep.
Yeah.
And that was one of our things. Depending on how this was going to play out, I was probably going to have to go at some point and take my daughter, put her to sleep, and my mom would come with me and she'd stay at my house, and then I'd go back. But it all happened so quickly that we didn't have to do that. Now, it passed my daughter's sleeping time, but we were still it was still within a window of reason that we could get her home, get her to sleep, and, life could kind of be semi-normal.
Mm-hmm.
So we were trying to do that, accomplish that. And we were like getting everything, grabbing everything. But then we got her grandma. Now, mind you, we have two car seats in the back. And I have one of those cars that doesn't have the full third row. I have the two seats and then the third row, not the full second row.
Yeah.
So
You got the captain's chairs?
Yeah.
Huh?
Captain's
So
chairs?
the other thing that was funny is that we brought her grandma. So she took shotgun. Karina, in labor, having contractions, goes through the two car seats in the middle into the back.
Oh, shit.
So when we're going to try and do that again on the way back, the ladies at the birthing center saw her and they're like, wait. You can't try to do that move right now. Like, you're crazy. We're not going to let you do it. You just gave birth. Like, if you move in a certain way, it's a wrap for you. Like, you can't do that. So then they were like, wait, we're going to take you home. We'll follow him. Come up with us real quick. They had her in a wheelchair. And then they were like, oh, but this is the second birth at this birthing center, mind you. So they were like, oh, we forgot to do paperwork. Bruh. So I have my daughter. I have her grandma in my car. They take damn near 40 minutes doing some kind of paperwork upstairs.
Nah.
The baby's having his long sleep right now.
Yeah.
And then finally they bring her and we go, and it's like we would have been home probably, the baby was born at 7:20. We would have probably been home by like 9:45. We didn't get home till about close to 12.
Damn.
Between 11:30 and 12. So that ruined the whole long sleep thing, So when we get home, the baby's now crying. He's up. So, and then my daughter, she was restless, but got her to sleep. And then, Granny went to her room.
Shit.
Let me ask you this, E. When your son wakes up in the middle of the night, does that wake your daughter up?
Well, that was the thing. Like, it hasn't happened yet.
Oh, okay, cool.
So again, trying to prepare for all of this. Then during this whole process when he's crying in the room, I'm damning everything. I'm damning everything about life. I'm like, fuck this fucking house, man. Why didn't we think about the way these rooms are built and why did we pick rooms next to this? My daughter's room is right next to ours.
Right.
I'm like, this is ridiculous, man. Why couldn't we fucking bought a house with rooms across, in hallways and
the East Wing, the West Wing.
Yeah, well, fuck it. In anticipation of shit like this happening, we bought sound panels that you put in studios. And we bought one that has a canvas with a picture on it, and we put it in her room.
Oh, they sell them like that?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, they sell them like that. we put it up against the wall that's with our room, adjacent to our room, and then we put these other like panels in our room. They're like decorative across it, so that definitely helped. And I replaced the doors that were super hollow, her door, with a thicker door, so to help with the sound. Now it's not 100%, and then she has the sound machine still that we use, the white noise. All of that seems to be working right now. The only thing that's happened is maybe once or twice she's made like she's maybe said one time, I think, baby, like if she heard something. But
Right.
then, like in her sleep, like she went right back to sleep.
Right.
She hasn't fully woken up yet. And then the other thing is when the baby's crying, we have this method. I have this thick ass pillow. I put it right behind his head as another like sound barrier, kind of like if it's another one of those
Oh yeah.
sound joints. Like it's one of those like super thick memory foam pillows. I put it right over his like right behind his head while my girl's changing him. It's crazy, bro.
Son, you got 2 kids, bro. You realize? So we're 1, 2, 3 now.
Excuse me?
1, 2, 3. K1, you 2, me 3.
Okay.
That should mean something. I don't know what, but
So 1, 2, 3, or if you add them all up, which one means something? What numerology are you looking at?
I don't know. So I'll let the audience figure it out for us.
Yeah.
So
It was so bad with the sleepless nights. I didn't even know what time, like what day it was the other day. I was doing the most dumbest things and mistakes and memory lapses that you could imagine.
It's normal. That's normal shit. When I think about, like, in previous episodes, we've talked about, and particularly you, E, we've talked about like I guess the pros and cons of like a noisy ambiance for when your kids are going to sleep, right? Like I know you and your lady kind of debated it, and there was a lot of conversation about it. Right now, assuming that you guys allowed for regular noise to take place, is probably paying significant dividends in you not having both kids awake at the same time. I don't know how noisy her environment has been as she's been kind of developing.
My daughter?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we argue it, but I feel like my girls kind of won that war of keeping things more quiet than I would want to.
Right.
So I don't know if it's paying any dividends.
So then it's the noise machine.
Yeah, because and the other thing too is that we took out of the equation that my girl's like, I don't want it back, is my dog.
Oh,
so we have a Chihuahua.
Oh! I thought you said you got rid of it.
No, I already told from the beginning, my mom, you're gonna take care of the dog for at least a week or two while we go through this transition. My girl's like, I don't want that dog back. In a sense, she's saying that.
Oh shit.
And it's funny because she picked out the puppy and was like, you need that. And I was like, I don't want a dog. Yeah, you have the dog. It's okay. And then now I love the dog, and she's like, I don't want it, because the truth is the dog barks at anything, and we can't imagine what life will be with that dog now added to the equation, because the dog wakes up our daughter easy, and then we don't know what the effect will be with our son. And then if we place him, like we often will put him on the couch and he's chilling, you can't do that with the dog running around trying to lick him and jump on him or whatever,
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's fucking life, dude.
So we had a couple episodes where you were deciding about circumcision and how you were going to make
you've
that
got a
decision.
couple days left to decide that, right?
Yeah. I mean, different people tell us different amount of days, and I feel bad now because I'm like, I don't know if I want to put homie's business out there. Like, they's like, yo, Dad, man, like everybody knows that I'm
Oh, that's true. That's
like,
true.
what the fuck, man?
That's true. So
In
we could
2020, what the fuck was going through your mind in 2020?
Right.
I was like, this shit's fucked up.
yeah,
Man.
2020 was fucked up.
You was born in the craziest of times. Who's crazy? You are definitely crazy. He's a June Gemini, and I just found out that Trump is a June Gemini.
Oh yeah.
Please don't let it be true.
That is
Anyways, yeah, we're figuring out the circumcision part. It's oh man, I try to like talk to all you guys, all my close friends, and get like a sense of like what what everybody, like I don't know, maybe play it by the numbers. Like, okay, this amount of people did it, this amount of people didn't. These people I respect more than these people. And the truth is, it's pretty 50-50, to be honest with you. In fact,
Wow.
the people that I didn't think were and did are, aren't, and the people that opposite the other way around.
Right.
So I'm just like, what the hell? Like, I didn't think this dude cared about circumcision. He's like, oh, I'm circumcised. All my kids are circumcised. And then this other guy I thought was saying like, fuck that. I got a fucking elephant trunk. I don't give a fuck. So I had a long conversation, pause with about it.
With who?
And before we get out of here, remind me to tell you the story of me and Rek yesterday trying to do an outing with the kids, with my daughter and his 2 sons, but which is pure comedy. And so Rek, I know for a fact that he didn't do it, but I wanted to double check with him and see if there's been any issues with with hygiene or anything like that. And he was just, so I just checked back in with him about it, and he was just explaining to me about how, he's from England. It wasn't a big thing over there. They don't do it over there. His dad wasn't. So then he wasn't. And then he decided that, he wouldn't either to his kids. And then he saw a documentary, the one that my girl made me watch, that horrifies you about it. And so he's just saying, hey, whatever. He didn't do it.
Whatever.
Didn't do it, man. So I don't know. And then my girl right now, she just told me right before I jumped into this, she's like, "Oh, I sent you this video. This doctor that used to perform circumcision, so now she's against it." And she even said that a lot of the people in the Jewish community now are not doing it anymore either. I'm like, okay, thanks, guy.
She's going hard.
I mean, he's here now. You got to throw everything at it now.
And Rek told me that his I guess the doctor that they whatever that was a part. What do you call the doctors that you give birth to? What do they call? What kind of doctors?
Pediatrician? No.
What? The birthing doctor. Let's call it.
Yeah, that's sad. I've got 3 kids, and I couldn't tell you what the name of the doctor is.
You have no knowledge of anything other than like dumb shit.
Yeah.
But he says that his doctor, is Jewish. And he was like, all right, so you're gonna circumcise? And they're like, no. And he thinks that the guy looked down at him at that point, like your children will burn in hell for eternity.
Wait, gynecologist?
No.
God damn it! I should have just kept
as well.
Should have just kept quiet.
Is it a babyologist? No, I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm kidding.
So man, you're not sleeping well. That's par for the course, expected. But you don't look tired.
No, I feel guilty. The past couple of days, I've slept a lot more than my girl. Mm-hmm. But I just feel guilty. I'm definitely sleeping more than my girl, 100% more.
Yeah.
Right. But the quality is terrible because I'm like what's the word? I'm like everything's knee jerk. Like I hear anything, I'm up all of a sudden. And like your heart's beating off fast. Like you're on like flight or fight mode in a sense. And that's, to me, that's not healthy to have that kind of, back and forth sleeping, and waking up throughout the night. But she's definitely like, she's thugging it out, man. She's doing more diaper changes. And I had, for some reason, and I think I was like this with my daughter. I'm not good with the newborn part of this. I need them to have a little bit more, a little more strength in their body. I need
not so much jello.
Yeah, like I'm just nervous, fragile, and I feel terrible. And and then on top of that, with everything going on with my daughter, I tend to, just you
favor
handle
her.
him,
Yeah.
I'll handle her, type of thing. So she's been taking care of, I would say, 99.9% of the diaper changes. I maybe did one out of all of them.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I'm not ready for all this wiener shit. And this dude with
I can't wait till you get that the anonymous P. When it just
my girl got it already.
Already? Damn, that boy's quick.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that's what's been going on over here, man. Little Junior, he's wrecking shop.
That's a lot.
So, you guys, anybody have any? Well, I know Keller necessarily can't, but maybe you can. Maybe you read a book that saves all our asses. Like anything that will make things better for my daughter, man.
Time.
No.
Time.
Oh, dude.
No, I think it probably. I mean, Manny, you've got the most experience with that, so I'm just assuming it's something that'll just have to. I mean, I know, like we had some friends who had I guess their son was 6.
See the age matters here.
When his sister was born.
Yep.
And they said that it was definitely like he was not happy, and it took maybe, I don't know, 6 months or something for him to kind of soften up, and then once he realized that this is kind of like how life is, and he eventually warmed up to it. I think it's probably just a time situation, but I mean,
because I told my girl about I think we talked a little bit about it with Manny, or I mentioned to my girl about Manny, and our thing is that we want to find someone that can kind of like relate to the ages wise, because yours was what, 4, Manny?
My son, when my daughter was born, you saying?
Yeah,
3.
So a little
pretty close, but pretty close.
But definitely was speaking a lot more at that time. Or no?
Yes.
So that's the thing. I feel like the most important part, or the most difficult part here, is that she can't articulate her feelings, and we can't articulate to her what's going on, like to make more sense for her. So she just thinks it's like the stranger that we forced on her in the house that's gonna, be there, like this mole that's just there, like you have no choice but to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, so my situation, as I think about it now, like even so, my eldest to my son, I had that advantage. I had the ability for me and her and us to comprehend what we're each other's communicating. Same thing with my son when it was his turn to see his baby sister come to the world. So that by far, I think, made them, because you can set expectations, right? You can throw all the smoke and mirror shit out there and kind of sell it to be the most amazing experience that they're going to come across, and that makes it all. I think it changes the dynamic entirely. You don't have that advantage, and so for you, it's going to be. I mean, time is going to be your best friend, unfortunately, but it's a lot of the shit that you're already doing, like get you focusing as much of your time as possible on her, and then your wife, whenever the lady, whenever she can, like come over and help. But that's tough because she's, like you said, 100% of her time is with him.
And my girl's feeling really emotional about it, and I'm worried about postpartum with the situation.
That's real.
So I'm always like telling her, because she still has her placenta pills from the last time, and supposedly that helps. So I'm like, yo, take your motherfucking pills. She's like, I'll take them. Shut up. And I'm worried because she's feeling some kind of way because, of course she loves the baby, but she feels like she misses our daughter because during the late months of the pregnancy and now she hasn't been able to interact the way she used to.
Yeah.
And so she feels deeply emotional about it. She, breaks out in emotional outbursts from time to time. And then my other worry is that my daughter is displaying like clear mood, like a change in her personality and her moods. Like it's really, she's not the same person right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if it's all because of the baby or also because of just the time in her life, why they call it the terrible twos, but she's more like, she's become more introverted and more quiet and more serious, where she wasn't like that before, and that scares me. And the other thing is, when she does have like outbursts, it seems like she knows that I'm catering more to her, that we're trying to cater more to her, so she uses that to her advantage as well. So I'm worried about like the ramifications of all this in terms of discipline and just her personality. Like it scares me. I know that in the long run it'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
But in the micro, it's scary as shit with her because you're this little girl that you love so much that she was so happy and joyous. Now she's like a little bit more moody and more serious, Well,
you got to figure. I mean, her life just got rocked. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it takes time.
Yeah,
I mean, I know it's difficult for us to even say because you're in the thick of it. So anything we tell you, you're gonna be like, "All right, Bob, like, come on, guy."
No, I take it all seriously. I want to just it would be perfect if I could find someone that has the exact same age, just to be like, or they went through it with the same age, kids that were the same age, and I could find, okay, well, this worked for you. Maybe I could find some methods. It'd be awesome if Kay had a book already for it.
Yeah, come on, Kay.
Kay, you're really slipping here.
I know, I'm fucking up.
But why don't we put it out to the audience? I mean, if you guys have ideas, I mean, EFN would love to hear them. So hit them up on Instagram at Who's Crazy or at DJ EFN on Twitter.
Yeah.
And
Hit up Fatherhoods with the information, and we can read it out. Yeah, and
this is literally a cry for help. Like right now, we don't got answers, so we need professional help over here.
Straight up, and to segue into, like, I told you guys I wanted to talk about an outing with Rek. So trying to focus more on my daughter, and that's the one advice I have gotten from people is, like, try to, like, give her a little bit more attention, try to do more things with her. And I'm trying to do that. So her gym, the baby gym opened up again. Well, kind of opened up. It's limited classes. So we started going to those. And I've taken her already twice. I'm gonna take her again. Then right before the baby was born, we went to the zoo with her. And then whatever, like, I'm just doing as much as I can with her alone or in the house, just paying as much attention to her, which part of me is starting to feel weird that I'm not paying attention to the baby. So that's another problem altogether. But
I wouldn't worry about that. Don't.
No, I know I'm gonna be fine with that part.
Yeah.
But my girl brought up something like saying that she, those bonds that you create, that I was, that I did all these things with my daughter as an infant. She feels like, am I losing that, creating those bonds? I don't know.
I mean, there's nothing stronger, male or female, than a maternal bond. That you can't shake. My experience has been, it's worked out well in my limited cases here, right? Where we've done kind of what you guys are doing. I focused on the young one. I'm sorry, on the older one. She focused on the baby. And by and large, that's how we operated. The guilt does come into play, though. Like her feeling like there's a disconnect or missing the time with my son, as an example. Like, those things are real concerns, and they can lead to postpartum and shit like that. So that is something that you got to be cautious about. But I think wherever there's an opportunity, your lady's going to gravitate toward your daughter where she sees opportunities. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to flip. You're gonna have to. I was the same way. Like, I didn't want to touch my son until he was like a little bit more flexible as far as like being able to move around or talk or whatever. But there were moments where I had to go grab him. I had to fucking put him to sleep, whatever. That's where we found, I think, our swap opportunity is, like, after she fed him, I would grab him and then rock him to sleep. And there was like, it was a good transition period for her to deal with my daughter, my youngest daughter, and me to basically have my son in a relatively tame situation. And my routine was kind of have him go to bed, which was kind of limited as far as my interaction. So that tended to work well as we transitioned.
All right. Well, I mean, that worked. We did that swap with our daughter, but for some reason that swap hasn't worked out as smoothly this second time around. But anyways, going back to Rek. So we got the annual pass to go to the zoo. And so
you do that? You're one of those? You get the annual pass?
I wasn't one of those. We had got it last year and we only used it twice. So it was stupid. And then my girl was like, "Oh, the zoo's opening up to take our daughter before the baby was born." I was like, "All right, cool." And it's $35 per adult. The kid is free, but the annual pass is $85 for the year, and it includes 2 adults.
Yeah,
like, might as well just get that. Anyways, so we get it, and I'm like, "Oh man!" Like, she's like, "Oh, maybe I was like, maybe I don't know if it was her idea or my idea. Take my daughter to the zoo, like just a daddy-daughter day and get her out." And I was like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." And I was like, "Man, it would be cool if I could go with somebody else too, like another father." So I hit up Rek. I'm like, "Hey man, have you gone to the zoo with your kids? You want to go?" He's like, "Oh, I haven't done an outing like that because he's got twins."
Yeah.
He's like, "I haven't done that yet."
He sounded scared.
So yeah, he wasn't sure about it. I told him we might call him. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to, if we have time, but whatever. We could bring him in some other episode. But I was like, "Come, you down to go?" He's like, "Oh, all right, yeah, And I think he talked it over with his girl because his girl started working,
Oh, okay.
And he's like, it'd be nice to get out, yeah, And I was like, well, I could get a buddy pass, and your kids are gonna be free, and it's like stupid cheap. And the zoo, they fix it up as whatever. I sold it to him. He's like, all right, cool, let's do it. So the days leading up to it, the weather got pretty bad out here. I was like, oh man, if weather's bad, call it quits. Gonna cancel, but I'll let you know, day of. And whatever, we'll play it by ear. And so the morning of, it looked sunny. It was beautiful. I was like, oh man, I guess it's a go. Let's do this. He's like, all right, cool. I had to go with my girl really quick. She had to go by a doc visit. I had to sign a paper having to do with the birth certificate. And then boom, I slide over there. And as I start getting to the zoo, it starts to rain. And I'm looking at the app now because the app said it was sunny. And the app is like, oh, it's only going to rain for an hour. Like, all right, cool. I was like, yo, man, it's light rain. He says an hour. He's like, yeah, all right, cool, whatever. I go, we'll make the best of it, man. So he gets down there. Mind you, this is his first time really doing something like this with his kids. Twins, I could imagine one's a handful, two is a real handful. So then I'm like, yo, pull up. So as he finally gets to me, it's pouring, right? We're like, but the app says it's going to be good. Right. So this is Miami. It'll go quick.
Right.
And, it slows down. So he gets out the car. He starts getting his kids ready. I get my daughter ready. We put them in the strollers. It's still drizzling. We're like, this is good. Just by the time we get to the middle of the park, the sun will come out. It's gonna be a beautiful day. Boom, we get it. Right when we get into the entrance, and this should have been already assigned. The rain already alone, just the drizzle should have been assigned. Get there, and the dude's like, okay, you have an ID to go with your email that I had on my phone, with the thing. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I have a phone, my cases of my wallet, but I've been recently trading out the case when I go to the pool because I don't want my cards and all that to be in it. And I happen to not have changed it back. So I didn't have my credit cards, didn't have my license, didn't have anything. And I'm like, I don't have anything, man. Luckily, there's a young dude, because an older dude probably wouldn't have done. He's like, well, you got social media? You can show me your name, and And I'm like, oh, yeah, here, boom, wow. Facebook. All right, you good. And then I'm like, yo, Rico, you're going to have to spot me, if we find anything. I got you, Zelle, PayPal, whatever.
Right.
I'm good for it. You want a mixtape? We start going, and then, everything's in the beginning is kind of cool. We're going through it. Everything's still closed though, so there's we can't get snacks or anything for the kids, but they're cool. They're maintaining, and then we get to mind you, remember I went to the zoo a couple weeks back with my daughter already. So what we were doing is we would be in the stroller, and if we got up to, where there was an animal, I would take her out so she could see it better. Yeah. So I do that with her, and then he's like, oh man, no, because he's not trying. Can't take and my daughter was already used to it, so she's like, carry, so she can see the animal. And I'm like, yeah, no doubt. And then he's like, oh, damn, I can't, And I'm like, oh, my bad. I'll try to avoid it next time.
He's like, yo, chill, son. Don't let them see that shit.
So now we're trying to I feel like we were going through the park pretty quickly. Right, so that means we're getting deep into the park, and all of a sudden, bro, it starts drizzling. Then it starts raining harder, and then it just comes down. And then we're in the middle of the park, and they have no cover in this park.
Oh shit!
We get under this little umbrella thing that they have by one of the exhibits. But I mean that with the rain here, the rain goes sideways in Miami, so that was nothing. So we were completely drenched. The rain was just coming down. I just looked at him and I go, yeah, man, I don't know. I think we might as well just walk through the rain and go home, bro. This is not going to get any better. And then his kids, he had to let them out at that point.
Right.
Because they were just not having it. And then they're just jumping in puddles. They're stomping. I got a video of it. And it was just crazy. I was like, everything that could go wrong went wrong in this outing. And yeah, that's my little outing story.
And for those wondering, yes, we are still in the pandemic, and no, Florida does not respect social distancing.
Right. Well, there was nobody there, and we had to wear our masks in there.
Really?
Except not the kids. The adults had to wear them, and then kids, I think 2 and under don't have to, but adults have to. And then if you're not around people, you could lower the mask or whatever. But like I said, it was drizzling when we got there. there was probably 20 people in the park.
Wow.
But it was terrible, man. It was terrible.
Wow.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to.
But he's ready for the next one because
Okay. Well, that was probably a good. That was probably
that was
a good
boot camp.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a good intro for him.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear his take on what was going through his head, because I can imagine, like, just what you were able to recount was like mad stress in Rex's mind.
Yeah, crazy. But going into the next episodes, guys, obviously it was important to talk about what happened with the baby, but there's a lot of other things a lot of other topics that we need to cover in the weeks to come with everything going on, and I'm sure we all got something to say.
Yep, that's for sure.
Word.
All right. Well, I think Edie, you're probably up for
A nap.
daughter or baby duty in
Yeah.
any moment now.
Yep. For sure.
All right.
All right, y'all.
All right, brothers.
Stay classy.